management and sponsors cannot be held responsible for some of the views aired tonight on this program.
Something in the water taught me how to crawl. Something in the water taught me how to fall.
Hey y'all, welcome to another Something in the Water podcast. I'm Uncle Dave Griffin.
I'm Sean Clark.
And look at there who we got on the podcast
Hey,
with us this time. Our friend, our songwriting partner, our mentor, Mr. Ian Dunlop, all the way from Cornwall, England.
Yeah, well, I'm not your creditor.
For those of y'all who don't know, Ian Dunlop was in the International Submarine Band along with Gram Parsons, John Nuis, and Mickey Galvin. And he's been a friend of ours for a long time now, ever since about 2008, I believe, was when we first met.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Also visual artist and singer-songwriter,
author.
And we're still friends.
Yeah.
That's the very important thing.
Yeah, we wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, since you've been coming to South Georgia and participating at the Gram Parsons guitar pulls, we've written together, we've lived together, we've recorded together. It's just been a great relationship. I know it has been for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really thankful for that. It actually starts when I finally got hooked up to the internet, and I got on some sort of social media or something, and that's initially, I think, how you and I got in touch, Dave.
I believe it was MySpace.
I believe it was.
Wow.
Well, it did the job at the time.
It sure did.
And it was like a real like a lightning strike. That there were people who were interested in in my part, my minor part in music and so on, and it was just like wonderful to be get a warm, gilded invitation to come and perform at the first guitar pull that I did, and it was just wonderful to be there, and and it was just one act after another, playing the music that I'm part of.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
rather than being sort of an outcast here in a country that's got like no tradition of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you would not know how excited I was when we were having that conversation on MySpace. I was like pinching myself, I was thinking, damn, this is Ian Dunn. You were never forgotten by any of us. I mean, we read the history. We read it deep. We knew all the members' names of International Submarine Band. And then all of a sudden, to hear from one of them, it was just, it blew me away. And to think that, okay, he's coming, he's coming next year. And
I think there was a lot about, most anything to do with, a guy who I considered my friend. I mean, we worked together and in the bands and that type of stuff, but we were friends. and after Gram went, his whole the whole memory of Gram was all had this great black cloud over it of sensationalism and all of the negative aspects about his life and everything like that. And there was a certain point where people would contact me regards, they were making films or bios about Gram, and I just refused to cooperate. So I sort of really fell off that scene of like in the slipstream of Gram, because I just didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Right.
And I think it was really when you and I were in contact, it was about the first time that I felt some sort of genuine desire to, partake of anything like that.
Cool.
Well, that's a little bit of the background for you.
Yeah.
You were a real tempter. Get thee behind me, David. And don't push.
Oh, well, Sean mentioned just a second ago that you're also a graphic artist, which, wow, you've got to say original is an understatement. Your stuff is some of the most original stuff I've ever viewed, It's very much a style of your own, and I guess you could call it folk art, right? Would it be classified as folk or?
Well, I don't know. I think maybe, you know what? I tell you, here's another, weird story. That in, I don't know, 10, 15, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or something like that, I got in touch and went to a place that was a so-called outsider gallery, right? And they, and I knew that I had that sort of away from the mainstream type of artwork, right?
Right.
So I talked to the woman there. Strangely enough, it was when I was up in upstate New York, because my brother used to live up there. And this place was in Connecticut. And in a place, strangely enough, called Cornwall, Connecticut. Anyway,
Really?
so it's a very sort of, that's a real upmarket area, and I guess quite cultured,
Yeah.
Anyway, so I went into this gallery, and I started talking to the woman, and she said, tell me a bit about yourself. And I said, well, I went to, because people expect artists to start spieling about, I exhibited here and I've done this and I went to that and I've got a BA, or, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I actually went to the Rhode Island School of Design, which is quite a, major art
Yeah.
college in the U.S. Okay. And she said, oh, well, I think we better leave that out of your CV. Because
Why?
it put me too much in the arena of established artists, rather than what they wanted me to be was more like somebody who worked in a ball bearing factory.
Grassroots.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And and wrote a few letters backwards in the alphabet. That's what that whole thing is about, that outsider thing and folk art and everything. And I remember meeting a woman at some place at a festival that I played, and she was like considered a outsider artist. She had a degree from Harvard. So be wary about that folk art,
Okay.
You have to dig pretty deep. I think maybe if you go to like interior El Salvador, or you might find it there or somewhere in North Nigeria.
Well, we'll call it Cosmic American Soul.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. You know how I digress.
Oh, gosh. Well, I don't know if we mentioned it at the outset there, but you are right now in Cornwall, England. That's why we laughed when you said Cornwall, Connecticut. I don't know if people watching would have said, "What's so funny about that?"
Yeah. Yeah, he lives in Cornwall, England.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just wanted to clear that up.
Uh-huh.
And your book, Breakfast and Nudie Suits. Yeah.
Great book.
What year was that? I'm trying to recall.
What year was it written?
2000 something, wasn't it?
No, yeah, about 2011, 2010.
Yeah. And you were writing
I think
that.
I started on it. I might have started on it a bit before that, and then I hit, a desert of despondency and discouragement, and I didn't continue with it, and then I decided I had to go on and finish it, and I think I wrote about half of it in Mexico.
That's right.
Really getting away from things. I mean, because the actual world that I was entering was all
Upstairs.
up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, memories. And there's a dedication in the book, not a dedication, but there's a quote from, I guess it's, Tennessee Williams, the writer.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that the most indelible memories, I'm paraphrasing, of course, the most indelible memories are written in the heart.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember I was working for the census in 2010, and I had a pre-copy of it. And I was sitting in there. You asked me to read through it and check it for commas and misspelled words and stuff. And so that was 2010. So I guess it was released in about 2011 or so.
Yeah, I think almost a year after that. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, but folks, if you want a good inside view of the creation of country rock or cosmic American soul music, as Gram used to call it, from a man who was there, you need to check out Ian Dunlop's Breakfast in Nudie Suits. That's Nudie, Nudie Suits. Nudie was the tailor for the stars in Hollywood, Nudie Cone. Mm-hmm. And he outfitted everybody out there in those star-spangled suits.
Where can you find the book? Where can our listeners purchase one?
It might be on Amazon. Honestly, me and the mainstream commercial world we don't speak to each other so much anymore.
Yeah.
It's, probably on Amazon or searching around. I mean, the publisher was pretty dubious. And, with a shoestring budget and everything, all of the things you don't need.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, that's what happens sometimes. I get fan mail. People, just, not daily, to tell you the truth. But I do get fan mail from people saying, I'm part of the way through. I'm really enjoying your book. It's such a great vignette or a slice of 60s America. almost more than you'd get in other places, because it's almost more like that. I mean, Gram is a character in the book, but it's not necessarily, even though it started off as like, oh, this is a book about Gram, it turned out to be a book about the music industry and American society in the mid to late 60s. That's really what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
That's why I found it so enjoyable. It was just what you said. It's a photograph of that slice of time, that part of history. And you get all the other things that were going along with it, the music, the creation of the music, and all of that stuff. It's a great book.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So I guess what we're doing here, folks, is talking to our good buddy Ian Dunlop, and he's just come out with a brand new CD, some of which was written here in Waycross in the United States when he was over here on some of his visits, and some of it is co-writes with myself and Sean and other folks.
Some of it was recorded right here in this room.
Right here in this very room.
Yeah,
quite a few were.
Yep. And so we'd like to, and in the meantime, over there in Isolation Acres in Cornwall, England, we've all had to endure this pandemic. The entire world had to endure it. And so England, I guess due to the size of that island, it fared a little worse because of this. What was it, the smallness of it, or why?
Well, it is a fairly densely populated place,
Right.
It's only about the size of like several of the New England states, or let's just say New England. There's a rough guess, but it's like 60 something million.
Mm-hmm.
And the initially, like everywhere else in a way, apart from New Zealand and Scandinavian countries and other places that are very together,
Mm-hmm.
the government, they were totally at a loss about what to do.
Yeah.
Well,
it was like that in a lot of places. I mean,
exactly.
Nobody's quite prepared for that. And the scientists did a hell of a job worldwide. They communicated and worked together, and thank God for these vaccines that kind of, it helped slow the process down.
It just shows like what can be done
exactly
when people are positive and they put their money and energy into positive things,
pulling
instead
together.
of negative.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so during this pandemic shutdown over there in Cornwall, you took to your studio and you started turning out videos. And so what we'd like to do is get your thoughts or memories or what have you on a few videos from this CD.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Sounds fine.
All right.
I enjoyed making the videos, and without again, like a shoestring budget, and quite a few of them like alone. Just like put the camera on a tripod and get on, film things.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of how they turned out.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Yeah, great.
Very inspiring.
And the effects that you're getting on those, I know a lot of them, like you say, are just self-created, like teardrops falling down your face like
Yeah.
magic
That's right.
marker, and
Real basic stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but it's great.
It's very
And
effective.
I like how you can get some, like, it's almost a diaphanous look, like you're coming through. You can see silk curtains through your face. I don't know how you do that. It's like double exposure on some of it. You know, that's
Yeah.
it's just great editing. I guess
Well,
you'd call
thank
it
you.
lo-fi or
Yeah.
something like that.
I mean that was a real great project over the dark winter days and lockdowns. You know. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna watch a few videos, and but before we watch them, we'll get you to set them up with your comments or memories. How about that? So, what about chainsaws and guitars?
Well, let me just give you an eyewitness exclusive look into my living room.
Okay.
Let's see if you're going to get this. Okay.
All right. There's a guitar.
There's a chainsaw.
There's a chainsaw. and a leaf blower.
Right. So there's three chainsaws there.
Okay.
And you live
Because you know, I've been managing my my land here that I owned for, you know, decades, and so I'm, you know, harvesting or selecting firewood, which I'm, you know, particularly in this next phase of life, which is the impact of the Ukraine war or the Russia war. How do we call it? You know, that with you know, energy prices are going crazy. So I'm those chainsaws. They're inside, so they stay dry. I don't put them in a little bed, but I like to keep them nice and dry so they'll start. I wrote that song, Chainsaws and Guitars, in the summer of 2019. You know, the way we write, as you well know, bits and pieces, and it started coming together. And actually, I had no idea that it was going to be so prophetic about what my life was going to be like. You know, like 9 months later.
Wow.
At the you know, at the beginning of COVID, where it was like, wow, I'm you know, isolating, and that's what I got, you know, like chainsaws and guitars. It turned out to be, you know, quite a prediction of what was going to happen. Any rate, you know, I like the song. It's sort of you know, interesting enough. And we recorded it there at Justin's studio.
Caution Light Media.
Caution Light Media studio. And hats off to the great Justin Mercer for his engineering and everything. Justin, you're getting this.
Yeah, he can hear you.
He's right there.
Okay,
and he just gave.
I hope he's smiling.
His
He
head
just gave you a big thumbs up.
Appreciate it, Ian.
Okay, great.
Enjoyed
And it was a great, it really went, I mean, we were really quick about it. You know, and basically it was the Pine Box Dwellers who were playing with me. I mean, I don't think I just sang.
Right.
And then we were a bit stuck for bass track, and I think I bottled out or copped out. I think Justin was going to give it a whirl, and maybe that didn't work, and so it fell to Sean. And he put the bass down on that.
Cool. All right, folks. Well, here's let's watch this video: chainsaws and guitars.
Brum, brum.
Where the sun goes down on the west bank of the river, beneath the oaks, living a bit off grid. None of the cash will ever be delivered. Don't worry about keeping your fortune hid. Howling at the moon, yeah, and singing to the stars, trying to find the balance between my chainsaws and guitars. Cast a shadow as they circle up above. Can't get no signal till I'm on my knees to pray. No login on Tinder for long distance love. When I walked out the door, I threw the key away down a washboard road, a graveyard for the cars, trying to keep it even between my chainsaws and guitars.
Husqvarna.
Yeah.
When I
Fender.
climb out of the valley with hope in my heart and in my bones, a picketing card from a deck of jokers chasing me all the way home.
You probably can't see what we're seeing. You're sawing a log with a guitar.
Feels like it's
Well, they do call them
frozen.
axes.
Yeah.
'Cause summer days just didn't hang around. Mother Nature says I'm
Man, it's so
overdosing
clear. The video is.
on clean air and sleeping on the ground. Too much isolation are gonna leave a scar. Well, I never get it even between my chainsaws and guitars. No, I never get it even between my chainsaws and guitars.
All right.
That's great.
Yeah. So that place that you're sitting in right there, you've been in that since the 70s?
Your house.
Your
Oh,
house.
you mean this?
Your farmhouse.
Well, actually, well, sort of. Yeah. This was disused. Here, I'm going to just show you what's in this place.
Yeah.
Can you see anything?
Cogwheels and
Miller?
it's the old mill.
Old Mill?
Yeah.
Dang. Is this
Anyway.
where Gram visited?
Well, not in this building because this building I owned it, but it was
The
not.
property.
It was just like an old empty building.
Oh, yeah.
And when Graham visited, I'm going to show you where it is. Right over here. I used to live on this place across. Can you see that building over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, over by the chimney,
Uh-huh.
there's a window there by the chimney. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second floor.
That's the room Graham stayed in.
Okay. This would have been probably early 70s.
Yeah, 71.
Yeah.
After you had played with him, the band was over at this point, right?
Oh yeah. He had, and so was the second. Well, I don't know which.
Burrito
And
Brothers.
the Burrito Brothers thing is so confusing to even talk about. But
Right.
but that was over for him as well.
Right.
He had left
This
that.
was in between his solo career and the Burritos. This was right in
Yeah.
between there.
It was like when he came to see me, he had just been come back from the south of France with the Rolling Stones, or hanging out, or staying there some of the time.
Exile on Main Street recordings.
Yeah, he
That's
had been
awesome.
there a little while before me, and he was telling me, I guess I'm going out on a limb, but I'm too old. I don't care anymore. And I remember him. So we were in the house opposite, and we were playing at night. And I had an old piano in the place across the road, and guitars and so on. And any rate, and he was saying, "Ian, you wouldn't believe it. The Stones are trying to play country." I said, "Wow, are you kidding?" He said, "No, but it's all a bit like," and he imitated Mick Jagger. "Oh, when you're standing there in your brocade underwear, talking to some," and he did this terrific imitation of like almost like a ventriloquist dummy trying to sing with a country delivery and accent. Yeah, it was funny. And he was saying all sorts of things about the disappointment of the Burritos, and he said, not many people can really play a country shuffle. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
It's what Fester Haygood calls the Dookie Chicken beat.
Yeah.
Dookie Chicken, Dookie Chicken, Dookie Chicken, Dookie Chicken. And that's the train beat, the train shuffle. And there are so many drummers that have a hard time with that.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's some cool history there. And
I got my I'm having a cup of tea in my Fender Telecaster teacup here.
All right.
that's some more of your artwork, isn't it?
Can you see it?
Yeah, that's neat.
Did you make that?
Okay. Yeah, well, my brother was a potter.
Mm-hmm.
So he made the cup and then you painted it.
Yeah, and we did a lot of work together in the 90s. I'm going to just show you a couple. It won't take long.
All right.
Please.
Now, come on. Now, let's see. Oh, here we are. Now, this one, here we are. That's one of them. And it just says Pottery Marathon, November 1997, Phoenicia, New York, which is where he lived. Another little jug here, a little Fender jug. right? And I don't know where the one. Then we did a set of like Prozac stuff, but I can't see an example of that. But this is a nice one. The thing about like art and buying art, design or anything, it's really important that people know the value of it.
Okay.
That's what the customer wants. So we were just putting the price right on the thing. That was the decoration. Here's another one. This is a bowl, right? And then on the bottom it says, invest in art. $85. Right. Now that's right in the glaze.
Yeah. You
So
can't.
we had a great time, and we made, I think there on one of these sessions, we made we fired, in the kiln,
Yeah.
400 pieces.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fantastic thing. Like anything that comes together with a lot of, you could even draw a parallel with writing songs, because it's like you take all these different elements and you shape them and you put them together, and then
Create.
but the end product is sort of unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. Sean, you built some bowls too, didn't you?
I didn't build them. I just painted
You
them.
painted them. That's right. That's
I
right.
come across a bag full of wood salad bowls, and then I just painted some.
Oh yeah. Well,
things.
Sean, I remember I remember seeing one of those when you were doing a couple early. Those might have been the first ones that you did.
Yeah, I didn't do very many and very long. I was trying to get back into doing some art, and
They were like titles of songs, weren't they?
yeah, I was trying to incorporate my songs into the art and sell them at the shows, and I did pretty good with them. I just couldn't stay on top of it. I got
There's
too many.
only so many things you can do.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. It's either you have to be dedicated about everything. That's why I'm such a failure in music.
No, you're not.
Well, speaking of music, we'll let the audience judge whether you're a failure or not. I think not. Here's one that you and I co-wrote right here.
What is it?
Thorns.
Yeah. Can I?
Yeah.
A little
Yeah,
bit
go
of
ahead.
background.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually, quite a few years ago, I had this idea and I wrote a little script and everything. And I wanted to do, and pardon me, Bible Belt viewers, but I wanted to do a bit of like an overview of the expulsion from Eden, Adam and Eve, of course.
Right.
And the serpent and everything. But I wanted to do it with a voice that was sort of like the narrator would be like sort of somebody like Lenny Bruce
Right.
or Shelley Berman.
Yeah.
These are all like early stand-up
Right.
type comedians, right?
Right.
And they were sort of slightly, but maybe even a bit more like with a sort of a beatnik lilt to it, the way it was delivered. It's like there was this, wonderful apple tree, but if the Almighty wanted to dissuade people from eating those apples, why didn't he call it something like the tree of crabby apples that gives you diarrhea and stomachache?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have touched it. Now, the idea was that when they were thrown out of the garden, and there's a big hand pointing out there, and they're shamefaced and plodding into this horrible world. this like terrible, terrible world of it's not all under the spell of angels and harps and everything like that. It's all full of like, savage animals with bleeding fangs and thorns and things that poison you and give you rashes and cuts and everything like that. And so it was like being cast out in the land of thorns. Now, so that's where I got that original little theme from. And of course, we've always been interested in some of the rural, very basic, uncommercial music that exists. And I remember Dave and we were looking at something on the internet or something about like an actual brand or style that was purely of hymn, primitive hymns that was known as an Okefenokee style.
Shape note singing, I think it was.
Well, it was something. It was
similar?
it was that, but it was also like there was, it was documented and everything that there was some peculiar style around that area of Georgia, and and it's not like you and I rushed out to find which primitive Baptist church would be, airing this on the night, but we were thinking about in those veins, about like the basic, no glitz, no glamour. They didn't even have pianos or anything like that. You know what I mean? And so it was all that a cappella singing. And as we have had the Christian church background experience, we were able to draw from our knowledge of the faith, and we sat and wrote all of those lyrics. Now, some people, now it's the most uncommercial piece of music. It would never, hardly anybody would like it. But I've had some wonderful feedback on that song, Dave.
Cool. Is this the one of them that we recorded in the apartment at the house?
That's correct. We recorded in that empty, bare room. I think we might have. I think I lugged in a couple of those plastic lawn chairs, and we set up a mic and the laptop, and we recorded it in there, and we double tracked it.
Okay. Here we go, folks. And getting back to that singing style and everything, that is definitely what we were channeling, because my grandma and granddaddy Carter, they went to church at the Mars Hill Primitive Baptist Church, and they'd had this thing called the yearly meeting out there with dinner on the ground and all that. And that's when we would go and attend. And there was many times sitting in that church had old pine slat wooden floors with holes in the floor, not holes, open holes in the floor, so the men could spit their tobacco juice, bing, right through the hole in the floor. But that haunting style of singing with no accompaniment, no instrumental accompaniment at all, and it was just that way, the way that we channeled it on here. So here we go. Thorns.
That's great with the thorn lettering.
I drop down on my bended knees, relent and let me in.
That's awesome.
Golly.
I love that ending with when the piano and all the instruments come in. Were any feet hurt in that video?
Yeah, you suffer for your art, and I would. That was winter.
Ooh.
That was Adam, right?
Uh,
That was supposed to be Adam. Walking.
it was picking up of the theme
Yeah.
of wandering in the land of thorns,
Okay.
and yeah. So I filmed all of that just up the road from me, where all of the exteriors of the agricultural fields, like where they have cows and stuff, right, are all like these hedges of different types of thorn and briars.
Perfect.
Right. So that was where all of that stuff came from. And then I went up to another place further up the road, which is like what they call a downs.
Mhm.
Downs. Do you know what that is?
I've heard of it.
Well, okay.
like
It's
rabbit.
just like a big.
Rabbit.
Well, it's
hose?
just a big, like a slightly like savanna in a way, a flat and or high ground that's quite not a lot of vegetation except for very harsh type of vegetation. And I took off my shoes and rolled up my pants and everything and filmed my feet walking,
Mhm.
right? And and it was prickly.
Well,
that is so laid back. But I wanted to put that on this CD just because, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
I saw I caught one episode of Something in the Water podcast, which I enjoy very much. It's it's very entertaining and nice to see you guys and everything. That's sort of, I guess, vicariously visiting with you if I watch one.
right.
So the other one of them a while ago, you had Justin Minchu, who used to live in Waycross and work and had been working with Dierks Bentley.
Yeah.
Remember that one? Okay. Well, you included some pictures of like their sets and the lighting and all fireworks and like all of the big major, but glitz and glamour and everything like that. And what you just played, this Thorns, is the exact opposite
Mm-hmm.
of big country.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's where our hearts are at. Definitely. We now we're not putting down big country or anything. There's a place for everybody. You know, it's just that our cup of tea rolls more to the thorns side of the genre. That was a great one right there. Let's talk about Cover Up #1. I enjoy this one too.
I enjoy that. Was no, that was written again in Waycross with a lot of the influences from there and stuff like that. And it was something that there were at a rehearsal. We were rehearsing for the guitar pull,
Mm-hmm.
and there was some little thing that happened, and it sort of, Sean and I chuckled about it, and I thought, oh, this might be a topic. So over the next little while, I went on one direction with writing, and I got some word ideas, and for a few days, Sean and I would meet at the Huddle House down there opposite the Waycross Stadium, or whatever you call that, where they play the football games and everything, at that Huddle House. And I'd say, hey, I got these words here, and this could be good. And it was, and then Sean had some lyrics about rhinestones don't sparkle in the dark. I think those were yours, Sean. Huh? Weren't they?
I don't remember. I mean,
I think they were, and they were just kicking around.
I'll take it. I love it.
Okay, but I thought they were. Any rate,
I remember working on it, but I can't remember.
Okay, well, then the guitar pull happened, and of course, all these people converge on that weekend, and all of the performers, whether they're semi-major stars or really, not that up in the world. Mm-hmm. Of course, everybody gets out their stage little outfit, sparkly shirt. Some people are dressed to the max and have made quite a bit of investment on a suit or a nudie style suit and things like that. And that sparked off this idea about putting on this raiments or garments, and how you can transcend your normal life, which might not be all that exciting, and suddenly turn into something splendiferous. So it just, then I started getting on that theme and developing that idea about, about looking at your closet or wardrobe or whatever, and picking out this. Am I going to be this? And some of the salient lyrics actually escape me at the moment about, like, once you've worn the suit, you'll be back for more, about getting hooked into an alter ego. Yeah. Right. And it's such a major thing in life, in that, like, look at the size of the consumer fashion industry, of like the whole thing of like power dressing and people becoming bigger than life, and like Clark Kent diving into a phone box and coming out as a completely different person. Any rate, that was the idea behind that, and I definitely remember writing another verse, the second verse. If you drive out of Waycross on the Brunswick Road, or the road that goes to the big bridge there that goes to Brunswick, what's the first place you get to? Is that Nahunta?
Hoboken.
Hoboken. That's the first place, and there's a little sawmill right on the left there before the traffic light. Okay, so what happens if I took a left there? I'm pretty sure. I think that road eventually goes to Blackshear.
121. Yeah.
Okay, and I went there a bit, and there was a little bridge over a very slow running river, and a pond there with sand around it and stuff. I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
No, I'm very familiar with that spot.
Okay, so I pulled off there, and I went and I sat on that sandbank, and that's where I got the whole second verse, just thinking about it, and whatever the second verse is. I can't remember it, but and any rate, and that it just came together, and I like it. We recorded that quite rapidly at again Caution Light Media Studios. Very, very simply, really, because there's nothing on it. There's only the lead vocal, an acoustic guitar, and then the cajones. That's all there is. And then Dave sang some fantastically wonderful harmony on it. And then at the last minute, we put together a sort of like everybody we could grab got purloined, shanghaied into the big a backup choir, right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, the ending.
Yeah. And
warts
and that was
and all.
it. That's all that's on that track. Now I added only one thing when I came back to my home and my home studio, if you could call it that. And that was I put a cello on it.
Yeah, I love that too.
And I can't play it to save my life, but you fiddle around and you get a couple of notes that aren't squeaking too bad and go for it.
Yeah. Great texture.
And that was filmed sort of about where I'm sitting here. A lot of it, most of it was filmed in this room.
Well, it probably sounds pretty good in there, but with the way that's built, the stone walls and the old wood and stuff.
Yeah, because of course the lyrics were about what are they? Something like
Sequins hide the pain.
It's what's on the surface, or it's what's on the skin, so they don't see the ghosts inside. Something like that, isn't it? About that, and so then I got into the ghost outfit and stuff like that to substantiate that a little bit.
I love it.
All right, folks. So here's cover up number one, inspired by Nudie Suits and Halloween costumes.
Now, is there a cover up number two? Is there a cover up number two, or is this like Hot Burrito number one?
Written in the Huddle House of Waycross, Georgia, by Sean and Ian. Recorded in this room that we're sitting in.
I believe that was actually the other house.
Oh, that was the other house.
That was the old?
That was the
old
old
house.
Old
Okay.
Caution Light Media.
On Swan.
What's that?
Okay. I thought it was this house.
I thought it was this
It was-
house.
it was
too.
this house.
Your
Yeah, it
house
was this
now.
house.
You're thinking of some of us.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, some of
Yeah.
us was recorded over there.
It was here.
And videoed in that place that he's sitting in.
Tregeddon Mill.
So
Yeah.
let's watch cover up number one. The glitter.
Button up your collar, roll down your sleeves, slip on a backstory, ready to believe your other self is hanging inside the closet door. Won't you warm the suit? You'll be back for more. Another incarnation is waiting for a host, 'cause it's all about the skin, so they won't see the ghost. Rhinestones don't sparkle in the dark. Beneath the decoration, there is still a heart. Mascara makes black teardrops when it rains, and sequins only cover up the pain. Ask it if it lies, seeing how it fits, but don't look at the eyes. Reflections are just shapes from what they want to see. You can paint a picture of what you want to be. Put on another layer, take another dose, 'cause it's all about the skin and nothing about the ghosts. The rhinestones don't sparkle in the dark. Beneath the decoration, there is still a heart. Mascara makes black teardrops when it rains, and sequins only cover up the pain. Yeah, and sequins only cover up the pain. 'Cause it's all about the skin, nothing about the ghost. Yeah, it's all about the skin, nothing about the ghost.
All right.
Oh, that's good. Did you make the mask?
The ghost mask.
I think
Or was that a Halloween thing?
I think it was. I just come on, it's just it's smoke and mirrors and old sheets
Yeah. I love
out
it.
of the laundry.
It
It's low
reminded
budget.
It reminded me of the ghost on our Halloween commercial. Our wine drinking ghosts on the Halloween commercial. Only
Well, they're all they're all in the same family, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Hey,
That was I like it. I mean, I like that I like the mood that created.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult sometimes about you creating something, making stuff, and then it's things that are going to be exposed to other people, shown to other people, and it's like, you're putting yourself on the line a bit, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
It's quite, it's like being in a fourth grade elementary school class and getting up in front of the class, turning around and pulling down your pants. It can be very, very embarrassing. If you're, I don't know, I'm not thick-skinned enough.
I don't know
But
about
at any
that.
rate, it was
Well,
great.
they're very
And,
entertaining.
I thank you so much. For working with me, and I think it's a wonderful thing how when we try, that we come up with something, whether people like it or not or laugh at it. That's beside the point. We did it.
I think we always get more done when you come over here and you light a fire under us, and we have those little huddle house meetings. And when you come, it's like we better get on our game because Ian's here and we got to write some stuff and record some stuff.
Well, I don't know. I think this is the thing about. I mean, it's sort of we're separated by such a huge distance, but if you historically speaking, we have developed quite a rich writing partnership.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't made us rich.
I like.
But look at the output. All of the stuff we've written together, and just so many songs, and of course we are out of the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, there, a lot of seeds are falling on fallow ground.
Yeah.
Speaking of being poor or not being rich, this next song is titled "My Credit Is Gone."
Okay.
You recorded that over.
Yeah. This is a real lockdown adventure.
Okay.
And basically it was. I can't remember the actual kernel in a plant and the germination of this, but it was something that I just went with this thing of almost like a chain of thought. You know how one little fragment leads to something else that might be a completely different topic,
Mm-hmm.
but they have one little link,
Right.
And so I just went and I wanted to complete the whole song, and and it doesn't really make sense or anything, but it was an interesting way of writing, just letting it one thing drift into another. So I got the lyrics and the basic structure that is it's got aspects of outer space and Mayan civilization temples, and I can't remember what the genus and species are for jellyfish, but everything just it was like without bounds. That was the main thing. No boundaries. Don't keep it on one subject. It doesn't really have to add up to be anything. Anyway, so it was one of the most severe lockdowns here. and I just started opening cases of instruments that I hadn't played in a long time. And I just went and built up all of the tracks, playing all different things. Like I hadn't picked up the saxophone in many years. You know, I probably hadn't touched it for 3, 4, 5 years. And probably the last time was only just to do some quick little, you know, goofing around thing like this. And the same with some other, you know. So at any rate, that's what it is. I don't know. I can't. But I like the freedom of where I went with the writing.
Mm-hmm. I like the song myself, very, very much. And speaking to your genus and species of jellyfish, I'm pretty sure it's Tentacular stingus, and not sure if that's right or not. But there was this where Gram attended elementary school was right over there behind Ian. Out this window behind where we're watching Ian on the laptop. It's at Williams Heights Elementary School. Back in Connor, my son Connor's kindergarten or first grade, they had a teacher over there. She was probably on a second or third grade level herself, but she took them kids on a school trip to Jekyll Island Beach, and she was out there warning them. She was saying stuff like, "Children, do not look at the sun. It will burn your rectum." And she got her words mixed up very easily. And she also told them, "Stay away from the jellyfish because those testicles will sting you." Oh, boy. So here we go, folks. Another Ian Dunlop original. My credit is gone.
Tabasco sauce to cool my fears. I need Mojave sand to dry these tears. I need revelations wearing red hot pants, so obvious that there's no chance to miss the clue that's coming through the stratosphere to the dance. The future will boogie with the past, and I'll cut in and get to ask if all the trees in Brazil have been pulped for a box to fill with online junk from Amazon. I don't care if my credit's gone, 'cause I'm at the beach with my flippers on, doing no harm 'cause my credit's gone. Jellyfish at this time in November. Our world will burn when the sun explodes in a year. I I can't remember, but it's carved into a big round stone in the temple of the Black Jaguar. But you can't buy Mayan books to read. There's something shoppers ain't asking for. Tabasco sauce to cool my fears. I need Mojave sand to dry these tears. To dry these tears.
That's great.
It's amazing what you can do. Isolation,
When
playing
you're
all those instruments.
Bo Burnham.
Yeah, but you know, pretty much like at second grade level.
No.
No.
There's a comedian, Bo Burnham, and during 2020, he was, in lockdown in his house, and he took one room and wrote all his comedy is like songs, and so he did videos in his house like that, and anyway, it just reminded me of that. I don't know why I'm telling you, but it's called Inside.
Right. I mean, a lot of people did, a lot of people achieved a lot or, wrote that novel that they wanted to write or whatever. And also the ones that were doing those very, weekly
Stream
home
live
concerts,
streams, yeah.
Everybody did. I never really got into that stuff, but I mean, I did, the videos and finished the recordings and so on. Yeah. I mean, there's many other songs that I would like to make videos from, and I've been doing some work on other ones, but they're not done yet.
Right.
I'll have to wait. You'll have to wait.
Yeah. Well, here's the CD once again, folks. This is the newest release from Ian, and it's Some of Us Are Still on the Run by Ian Dunlop with original artwork by Ian on the cover and on the CD itself. It's out there, and hopefully, well, I won't even say that. I'm going to say, go out on a limb and say, the Gram Parsons Guitar Pull and Tribute Festival will be held this October. I'm claiming it. We've, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we had to shut down the past 2 years, 2020 and 2021, and we did a a virtual guitar pull right here in this room, and it turned out very good. But it just ain't the same as gathering together.
Yeah.
And so we will do
Yeah,
that.
there were no hookups.
But Ian, I can't say for certain whether you'll be here, but I'm sure counting on it. And
how can I live without you?
you can't.
I ask myself every day,
Yeah.
how can I live with Waycross after I've been inducted into that hot, swampy place?
Facebook Messenger just ain't the way.
No, it isn't. It's not.
It's a distant second.
Just there's never enough grease involved with this stuff. You have to be there.
That's right.
Of course, every time I go back there, I don't know how many. There's bound to be more change. Things keep changing, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've got a few more businesses, and downtown is trying to pick up now a little more. And
Yeah.
we've got one bar down there that is in conjunction with another business right up the road, where you're encouraged to go in the bar and get you a beer and take the beer outside and walk down the block and enter the axe throwing business.
Yeah.
The Salty Sailor or something like that has his own axe throwing emporium. And you're encouraged to get drunk and throw axes. So I don't know. I don't know about that, but I think it's working.
I think they were going to call it axes at X's, but
Right.
It's a brilliant marketing idea, and I'm sure that their insurance is off the roof, up the roof.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, maybe it's they figure that down inside of everyone they have that primal urge
to get drunk and throw axes.
Yeah, I mean, are the axes targets, or
Yeah.
you just throw
it's-
into a
it's
big wooden?
throw into a big wood target, and there's cages and stuff around you, so you don't.
I'd like to hear the
Oh, okay.
the insurance
I see.
salesman right now. He said, "You say you're going to do what? You're gonna get drunk and what?"
It's like lumberjack games.
Yeah, it's like
Well, yeah, no, there
Scottish
you go.
games.
That's setting that's setting the tone for a real high tone development project for downtown Waycross. It's really, what
What I love about it is that they're finally loosening up and allowing the drinking on the sidewalks. Kind of like New Orleans or Savannah or whatever.
I see. Uh-huh.
That's a good thing. It's been it's been pushed for many years, and it's finally gone through without any fanfare whatsoever. I didn't even hear it, that it was passed, but
Right.
it is. And getting back to that Bible Belt audience, sorry if we're acting a little too giddy about it, but
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's sort of like that's like they're trying to inject a little bit of the Key West
right
into downtown Waycross.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, folks, we're going to take a minute now and go to the tale of the week, to the Reader's Corner now, and so here we go. This was ready, Justin? I better get my Dollar Tree glasses on. Folks, you can't go wrong with Dollar Tree.
You can't put a price on seeing good.
$1. Hey, how about this? Headphones and readers. Ingram Cecil Connor III spent the first 12 years of his life in Waycross, Georgia. Following his father's unfortunate and untimely death during Christmas 1958, his mother moved Gram and younger sister, Little Avis, to her former home in the Snively family orange groves of Winter Haven, Florida. Music was Gram's haven, an escape from the grief he found difficult to express after his father passed away. Big Avis remarried to Bob Parsons, a slick-handed businessman from Louisiana who adopted the Connor children, changing their last name to his, and thus changing how the world would come to know the young man who altered the landscape of music in the late 60s. Gram Parsons was influenced by and was an influence on a revolving cast of characters during his ascent to rock and roll visionary. Jim Stafford and Kent Lavoie, otherwise known as Lobo, were early bandmates in Winter Haven. Songwriter John Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas, Chris Hillman and Roger McGuinn of the Byrds, Rolling Stones' Keith Richards, Bernie Ledden of the Eagles, and Emmylou Harris, the protege to his mentor. One of the most colorful of Parsons' associates was Ian Dunlop, a Boston bass player who was a founding member of the International Submarine Band, formed in 1966 while Gram was enrolled at Harvard University. That's from the left there. That's Ian on the left. Above him is Gram. And next is Mickey Galvin, the drummer. And down below there is John Nuis, the lead guitar player. Ian was the bass player. Dunlop, or Ian, also a graphic artist, was responsible for the artwork that adorned International Submarine Band's first and only album, Safe at Home. Now, you did the artwork in the logo, right? Up above. You didn't draw the portrait of the...
No.
Right.
No,
okay.
I just did that.
The lettering.
That title, you could call it, yeah.
Yeah, that definitely is your handiwork right there. You can see your style in that.
Yeah.
Musical differences followed the band's move from the East Coast to Los Angeles, and Ian began jamming in and around Los Angeles clubs with friends, among them Leon Russell, guitarist Jesse Ed Davis, future Rolling Stones saxophonist Bobby Keys. Inspired by the traveling minstrel and medicine shows of the late 1800s, Ian came up with a name for the loosely organized jam band, calling themselves the Flying Burrito Brothers. The musical experiment didn't last, but the Flying Burrito Brothers' name was picked up by Gram following his departure from the Byrds in 1969. Tiring of the lifestyle and smog of Los Angeles, Ian eventually left town in a Volkswagen bus, headed cross-country to Boston. Soon after, he made England his home, where he has continued to make music and art. I had the pleasure of meeting Ian Dunlop in 2008 after booking him to appear at the 11th annual Gram Parsons Guitar Pull and Tribute Festival, a musical gathering that began in my backyard in 1998. We chatted over beers at a local watering hole before inviting him to spend the night at my home. My wife and I were entertained the rest of the evening with musical stories from this charismatic character from Cornwall, England. By night's end, it felt like we'd known each other for years. While in town, Ian soaked up the sounds and songs of other Waycross troubadours like Sean Clark and Billy Ray Heron, writing songs with Sean and I and recording the originals in Jesse Heron's Hickory Wind studio. Having this iconic figure as our friend and associate over the past few years has been a joy and a pleasure, and we welcome him back as often as time and space allow. And we got him back one more time, right here and right now on Something in the Water podcast. I'm so glad that this worked out.
Yeah.
We had our doubts, the gremlins and failures from past attempts at this. So far, so good, right?
But nothing can beat spiritual communion.
Yeah.
Nothing can beat standing here and touching each other. Wait a minute. Touching each other on the shoulder like that, patting each other on the back.
Yeah.
Easy there.
Yeah. Well, I got to thank you very much. I've enjoyed, chatting with you and everything like that. And really, even if it's the last time or what, I'm not getting any younger. I really would like to get over there. It's important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be great if we could do some writing. We all, as same with you guys, I have a whole lot of, things that are started and not finished, and ideas that could be mingled or married off with one of your little ideas,
I've got a bunch, and I know Sean does too. We keep writing them down in our phones, and just waiting to throw them out there in some form. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Well, buddy, another transatlantic conversation with our good friend Ian Dunlop. We hate that it has to come to an end, but all good things do come to an end. And we love you. We're fortunate to have you in our lives, and hope you feel the same. I know you do. You've told us that many a time, and we're looking forward to being in your presence.
Yeah.
Physically.
Well, all being well, I hope we can do it again, because it's too good to miss.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Dunlop, we appreciate y'all watching. And
Very good to see you and talk to you, Ian.
We'll talk again soon.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
The management and sponsors cannot be held responsible for some of the views aired tonight on this program.
Well, folks, I tell you what. Before we go, I'd like to share with y'all. It seems like we do this Something in the Water podcast as a means of entertainment, and it's very loosely organized, loosely based for the most part. We fly by the seat of our pants, and we kind of like that format because we feel it's more natural and hopefully entertaining. And we don't really know, because we hardly ever hear from anybody outside of maybe a Facebook comment here and there. But we got this review from a fella who all we know is he calls himself Florida Ramblin Man. And this was sent to us December 16th of last year. A review on Apple Podcast app, which our podcasts are available for listening in all the favorite podcast formats. And this guy listened or watched us on Apple Podcasts. And this is what he had to say. We don't know who the guy is, but we appreciate his watching and comment. He said, for a small town on the edge of a swamp in southeast Georgia, Waycross has produced a remarkable cadre of talented musicians. On this podcast, hosts Dave and Sean, a pair of artists with considerable singer-songwriter chops themselves, bring a wealth of knowledge about the local and regional music scene, both past and present. These guys, and typically whatever guests they happen to have on, are so down to earth and easygoing, a listener and viewer can easily imagine the conversation is taking place in his or her own living room. It simply feels like a group of friends shooting the breeze about music, local culture, and whatever other topic a rabbit trail might lead to. Often the music discussed is the wide-ranging genre that goes by many names, including Americana, roots, alt-country, or what one Waycross favorite son, Gram Parsons, called cosmic American music. Whatever you want to call it, it's honest, real, authentic, just like the guys that bring it to you on Something in the Water.
That was very kind.
Yes, and whoever, if you're still listening, Florida Ramblin Man,
Come be a guest.
come be a guest or
love to
give
have
us
you
a
on.
shout out and let us know who you are so we can properly thank you. And
Email us at somethinginthewaterpodcast@gmail.com.
that's right. So we thank you all again for watching, and we encourage you to send us an email or review or what have you. Like us on Facebook and YouTube. Like us on YouTube and
Join the Patreon.
join our Patreon account, The Deep End. Once a month, we give you a Deep End episode that goes into the deep end. It's only $5 a month to subscribe, and we're coming up with a nice little reward system for our subscribers in Patreon. We'll be giving some exclusive gifts away to our Patreon patrons in the near future. And so, thank you again, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Ian.
Love ya.
Love you too,
too.
buddy.
When the cold black water finds its way across through your veins, it just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate.